famous football coach for Man United, arch enemies of my team, Manchester City, was contractually obliged to further the quality of their football and the attractiveness of the game. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? You want them to play a nice attacking, or do you want a nice attacking game? When you say quality, do you mean the accuracy of their passes, the expected goals, the length of their passes, the failure to be intercepted? I mean, nowadays, if you watch a football match, we have more data and statistics than we could possibly want. How far every player has gone, the accuracy of the passes, the number of passes completed, the interceptions, the possession in each quarter of the pitch, all sorts of information, data upon data upon data. And maybe now we do have too much data, but how can you further the quality and attractiveness of football if you don't know what the baseline is? Do you want him to play really good football, but actually not get trophies? Do you? As a fan, you want an exciting game. So is that attacking football? Because we've all been to games, for those of you who go to football games, where one team has parked the bus, which means they've played an extremely defensive game, basically 9 footballers and 2 lines right by their goal, stopping any forward motion, stopping any attempts on goal. Well, it's dull to watch for the fans. It's dull to watch whether they're in the game or on TV. It won't make the highlights programs. But is that what we mean by attractive football? Do we want football with flair and flamboyance like the Brazilians are famous for? Do we want it with neat little skills, back heels, scissor kicks, all that kind of stuff? Do we want it to be a fair game of football with minimal number of yellow cards and fouls and offences and definitely no penalties given away? What do we mean by attractive football? Does the manager understand attractive football in the same way his bosses do? Do the players understand attractive football in the way their manager does? You see, different cultures have different approaches to football. African football is different to North American, to different South American, to continental football. So what are we expecting? Until we can put a finger on what good looks like, we can't really ask someone to achieve it. I've seen, say, partnering agreements which have said they need to reduce the number of defects on completion. Against what measure? That's a comparative bit of data. You need to know what the number of defects are currently in order to reduce it. And do you want to reduce it by 1 single defect or a particular percent? The data without a baseline is no good, so we need a benchmark. We don't need to know how much you want to improve. Is there an incentive for improving it by more than 10%, more than 20%, more than 50%? Or is the game so terrible at the moment we need to start again? You see, although you might want to say the best possible components for a house building project, what's a measure of that? There was a man in Guernsey who built a luxurious new mansion called the Maison d'Or, and he wanted best possible luxury. But that's not a defined term. That's a matter of opinion. It's subjective. We can't tell whether we've achieved that standard. So think about, if quality is important to you, what do you mean? If you buy a phone, do you want the battery to last a certain amount of time without charging? Do you want it to have a particular type of download or upload speed if you're using a Wi-Fi? When you're looking at a house, do you want it to meet a certain sustainability standard or warmth and coziness? What do you want? Be really specific, because until you're specific, it's really impossible for anyone to meet that obligation, that aim on that objective. So quality football, what does it mean? Attractive football, what does it mean? What does it mean to you to watch an attractive game of football? Maybe it's one with loads of goals. I went to a 6-3 thriller over Christmas. We were 3-0 up. We were looking at 9 goals being scored, hopefully by us. And before long, we were at 4-3 and on the edge of our seat, slightly more nervous. So we need to know what good looks like, because a 9-goal thriller, well, if 9 goals are scored by one side, might not be such a thrilling game. But if it's a game of cat and mouse, well, that makes a much more attractive game for lots of fans. So if you're going to talk about quality, performance, have measures, have standards, know what it looks like and be able to describe it to someone else. Because the purpose of a contract is certainty. The purpose of quality is to define what good looks like, what success would be. And it can't be dependent on what's on your head, a subjective view. It has to be something that they can take away, interpret, and do. So be careful. If you're going to define quality, define it with precision, certainty, and based on performance. Not, does it look good? Is it finished? Have we put everything in? Quality lasts a lifetime of a project. So get your quality standards right when you set your contracts up. Your contracts should safeguard your business, aim for success without annoying your clients.